Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to communication skills class. Today we are having topic about 7 C's of effective communication. So what are the 7 C's of effective communication? As you can see on your screens, we are having 7 C's, right? So what are 7 C's and why they are called 7 C's? I'm coming to the point effective communication. Before that, I must tell you that what is 7 C's. So 7 C's are the 7 points which are starting with letter C, right? That's why they are called 7 C's. Now let's discuss what is the difference between effective communication and communication. So effective communication and communication, they are having a big difference. Like as I said that communication in communication you don't care about the 7 points, but in effective communication you have to make sure that your message or your information must be filtered with 7 C's. So what are the 7 C's? 7 C's are the 7 points which contain completeness, concreteness, clarity, courtesy, and blah blah blah. So we will discuss that one by one after this, but I was giving you a notion about the communication and effective communication. So in communication you don't care that your information is transmitted completely, concretely, concisely, correctly, or clearly. You don't care about it. But in effective communication, you have to make sure that your message or information is filtered with these 7 C's, with these 7 points, and it is received by your receiver properly, correctly, completely, clearly, and blah blah. So let's discuss what we have. As you can see on your screens, we are having 7 points. Number 1 is completeness, number 2 is conciseness, number 3 is consideration, number 4 is concreteness, number 5 is clarity, number 6 is courtesy, and number 7 is correctness. So these are the 7 points which I was talking about, and your information or your message in effective communication must be filtered with these 7 points. It must contain these 7 ideas. After that your message would be effective would be included in effective communication, or your message would be included or considered as effective communication. Are you getting the point? So these are the 7 points. How they works, let's discuss. So number 1, we are having completeness. So how completeness work? As I said, your message must be complete by all means. It must contain all the information which is needed by your receiver, and it should not be incomplete. Alright, so in completeness, as we are having our first point, that is completeness. So in completeness you have to make sure that your message or your information is complete by all means, and it contain all the information which is required by the receiving end or by the audience. As you can see, the message should be complete and contain all the information needed by the receiver, right? So this is the very first point. And the second point is that incomplete information can lead to inappropriate consequences. As I said, your message or information should not be incomplete. If it is incomplete, so your receiving end might don't get the idea what you are trying to convey or transmit, and as a result there would be miscommunication, or you will face consequences in different form. So this is how completeness works. The other perspective about completeness is that you have to make sure all these points that if you want to send your message completely, if you want to send your information completely, so you have to make sure these ideas. Number one is who. Whom you are sending the information, you have to mention the name properly or the idea properly. Whom or who, to whom you are sending the information, right? What is it all about? What is the information about? What is the idea? What is the notion? And what is the information, right? When it is the time that you are going to decide that when you are going to send your information, like in a proper time, where, location, why, reason, how, I would say the procedure, right? So the thing is that you have to make sure all these points must be there in your complete information. If you want to send a complete message, so or information, complete information, so you have to make sure that it include all these information, right? So let's see the other point. Conciseness. What is conciseness and how it works? So as you can see on your screens, in conciseness they say that your message should be simple and limited. Like you should not elaborate that much so that your receiving end or your audience may get confused about the information that what you are talking about. As you can see on your screens, so number one is that give your message using least possible words. Like you should not use bombastic words, you should not use like lots of words to make your audience or your receiver confused about your message or information. So you should use least possible words. Avoid repetition. You should not repeat your information, you should not repeat your ideas time and again. So as I said, like you have to avoid the repetition in your words or in your sentences or in your ideas. You should not repeat it, because normally when we are providing information, so time and again we are repeating the same information, and as a result we bore our audience or receiving end. It highlights the main message and helps save time and cost. As you can see on your screen, that in conciseness it is like up to the mark and up to the standard. So the thing is that it is very simple, right? So your message is short, simple and effective. In conciseness you filter your message or information with least possible words, and you don't repeat your information, you don't repeat your words, you don't repeat your sentences. And what is the result of conciseness? The result is that it saves your time and cost, and it helps you to highlight the main idea. The thing is that you only focus on the main idea. So let's jump on the another point. If you put extra and irrelevant words, people might get bored. As I said before, if you will, time and again repeating your information or message or words, so your audience or your receiving end will get bored, as I said before. So what is consideration and how it works? Let's go through it. In consideration, you should be sincere, you should be unbiased, you should respect and give value to others' opinion. You should put yourself in someone else's shoes. The thing is that in consideration you have to consider the receiver perspective also. How it works: whenever you are providing the information, whenever you are conveying a message, you have to be sincere with your receiving end. You don't discriminate with your receiving end. You should not talk about your personal opinions only. You should not talk about your personal suggestion only. You have to consider your receiver also. You have to give respect to him or her. You have to give respect to his opinion or her opinion, right? You have to think from his or her perspective also. In an effective communication, we are having consideration. So in consideration, you make sure your receiving end perspective, that you have to make sure the ideas or information or perspective of your receiving end. So the thing is that you have to make sure that your receiving end perspective is included in your information or in your message. That is the point. So in consideration, you filter your information or your message with the perspective of your receiving end, and it really makes a big effect. What is the reason, and what are the problems, what are the consequences we face in consideration if we don't consider our receiving end perspective? It may lead to your conversation or communication to a fight, right? What is the reason? The reason is that your receiving end will think that if the person is not considering my opinion or my perspectives, so why should I care? So as a result, he or she will get offended, and you will face a harsh fight. So let's come to the other point, and the other point is concreteness. What is concreteness and how it works? Um, you have to use specific words rather than general. Keep it simple. It is more like conciseness, but in concreteness, you have to be very specific. If you are talking about someone, if you are providing information, if you are asking about someone or something, so you have to be very specific, not general. For instance, if you are the owner of a company, and you are saying that give these files to a manager, and your company is having not a single manager, your company is having like a couple of managers, and you are saying that take these files and give it to a manager. So your employee will get confused that which manager I'm going to give these files. So he will get, in effective communication, you have to make sure that you are very specific about your information or your message, that what you want to convey or what you want to say. So let's see an example. As you can see on your screens, number one is that give this file to the manager, as I said before. So this is like a very general thing. As I said, if a company is having more than one manager, so your employee will get confused at what he is talking about or what she's talking about, like which manager I'm going to take these files. But if you are more specific about your information, so you can see the other perspective, the other sentence, give this file to the account manager. So the employee will be not confused with the information, and he or she will be more specific about the information. So the thing is that if you are providing the specific information or simple information, so your employee will not get confused, and it will be an effective communication. So this is about the effective communication, and let's see the other point. Clarity, how clarity works. Let's go through it. Your message should not be ambiguous. Use extra and concrete words. Clarity makes understanding easier. What they mean to say in clarity is that your message should be clear. It should not be confusing. The thing is that your ideas must be interconnected. There must be coherence between your ideas and your words. How it works, as you can see, normally we are providing information about something, but we are mixing different ideas. So the problem with that is you are receiving and get confused that what he or she is talking about. Like on the same point, at the same point spontaneously you are talking about 3 to 4 ideas or notion, and your receiving end will be confused that like what he or she is doing, like we are not getting the main idea, we are not getting the clear idea. So you should be clear about your ideas, you should be clear about your words, you should be clear about your your message. So your message should be clean and clear like a daylight. That's what I'm seeing. So in clarity there should be a coherence between your ideas and your information. Courtesy. Courtesy is more like consideration. It's something like you give respect to your audience or your receiving end. You use very honorable words. As I said that if you are asking something, so you can say like excuse me, please, as you can see on your screens, right? So like if you are using this word thank you, sorry, please, excuse me, and we are having much more like these words. So these are words which give respect to your receiving end, and your receiving end will be happy with these kind of words. So in courtesy, like you filter your information or your message with thanksgiving words or apologizing words and stuff. So this is how it. So these are the words which give respect to your receiving end or your audience, and it makes them happy. So this is all about. And let's see what we are having next. So next point is correctness. What is this correctness point about? In correctness, you have to make sure that you use proper use of grammar. You provided the facts and figures, right? What is the use of grammar? Like you have to take care. Like in grammar. These correctness works in written communication, in effective communication I would say, but it mostly use in written effective communication. So you have to filter your message with punctuation, your proper usage of articles and prepositions and blah blah. So you need to see your message that you have properly used the grammar up to the standard mark, and you need to see that you have provided the actual facts and figures in your information. So the thing is that in correctness you make sure that your information is having the facts and figures about the information or idea what you are trying to convey, and the other point is that you have to make sure about the proper usage of grammar, that the preposition, articles and tenses has been used properly. So this is all about. Let's jump on the other perspective. So let's give it a nutshell, and in a nutshell we can see that these 7 C's can do these 7 C's, what these 7 C's can do. So these 7 C's can do, they can save your time, right? They help your message to be conveyed properly, can help you have a good relation with people, eliminates uncertainty. These are the all perspectives in a nutshell what 7 C's can do. So this was all about, and I hope you understand that what 7 C's is all about. If you are having any question, so you can use your comment section for your questions, and you will get your answers properly. So thank you so much for the class. See you around.